Simulan mong abutin ang iyong pangarap na magbibigay dangal sa iyong bukas. Ang suliranin, hindi laging nandyan, dapat mong harapin. Kami iyong kasama sa bawat takin, magkaakbay nating lulutasin. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ang boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ikaw lagi ang bida. Ang mga aral ay ginintuang atin ng bawat guro na siyang gagabay sa iyong pagkamulat. Naway umukit ito sa iyong isipan, maging mapanuri, sundin ng wasto at nararapat. Kagandahang asal ang ipakita, ipadama ang pusong may malasakit. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ang boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ikaw lagi ang bida. Sakali mang tayo'y subukin ng unos, ating haharapin ng walang takot. Sasamahan ka ni Fernan at Dino, ang bagong barkada mo. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, edukasyon mo'y sigurado na. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, edukasyon mo'y sigurado na.
Fernandino Teens TV.
Good morning, Fernandino viewers, especially to my Fernandino teens. It has been almost 2 years when I have started my journey as your teacher-lecturer. I could hardly think of words that best describe my experience. It is such a great honor to serve you, as the tagline goes, para sa bata, para sa bayan. A one-of-a-kind opportunity has knocked on my door to conveniently bring wonderful learning episodes to your homes that serve as your learning environment amidst the pandemic. I am very much sure that with the long time we have been together, meaningful learning has transpired at your comfort. Now, I welcome you to another interesting episode here at the Fernandino Teens TV Season 2. Sit back, relax, and learn as we go through the discussion on sample size and sampling techniques. I am Mr. Edyson of Pangilinan, your math teacher-lecturer for this episode. Let me share with you what must be expected from you as you watch this episode. Determine a sample size using the Slovin's formula. Differentiate the probability and the non-probability sampling techniques. Appreciate the various probability and non-probability sampling techniques as applied in real-life problems. What have you noticed when a local or a national election is approaching? Very good. There are private non-stocks, non-profit social research institutions that hold surveys about whoever may win a particular position in the government. In surveys that they conduct from the target population, a sample is taken. But let us define a target population and a sample. What is a target population? Correct. A target population is the entire group of people a researcher identifies to study and about which to draw conclusion. So, if a nonprofit social research institution holds a survey regarding the possible winner for a specific position, such as president, who may be the target population? Fantastic! It may be all the people of a nation, a particular region, a province, and the like. How about a sample? You are right. A sample is referred to as that part of the population that is included in the study and where the information in research comes from. Earlier, I have mentioned that from a target population, a sample is taken. But why is this so? Awesome! Here are some of the reasons for using a sample when holding research or a survey. 1. A sample is more practical. 2. A sample reduces costs both in monetary terms and staffing requirements. 3. Sample statistics are more accurate than the population parameter. 4. Less data needs to be collected and analyzed. 5. The use of sample allows researchers to conduct their studies with more manageable data and in a timely manner. 6. Sample is smaller and easier to assess. Now that you have learned some of the purposes for using the samples, the next thing you need to know is to identify the size of the sample. But before we do that, let me engage you first in an interesting activity which is titled Get Pop and Take Sam. In this activity, you will be provided with situations. After assessing the situations, you need to write Get Pop if the given group of people is a target population, and Take Sam if the given group is a sample. You may type your answer on the comment section if you are watching via YouTube Live. If not, then you may use a paper. Are you ready? Number 1. A survey on Fernandino Teens TV viewers was conducted to determine the rankings of the schools with the greatest number of viewers in the division of the city of San Fernando. Are you going to write Get Pop or Take Sam, given that the group are the Fernandino Teens viewers from the different schools in the division city of San Fernando? Fabulous! You are going to write Get Pop for the group is a target population. Number 2. Ma'am Rica wants to determine the difficulties faced by the grade 10 students in mathematics. In this case, she has floated the questionnaire to 200 randomly selected grade 10 students. Will you write Get Pop or Take Sam? Excellent! You will write Take Sam for the 200 randomly selected grade 10 students comprise a sample. Number 3. The Human Resource Office of a particular school like to identify the reasons of some teachers who filed for either resignation or early retirement. For this reason, the personnel conducted an exit interview. 10 teachers engaged themselves in this activity. Does the situation reveal a target population or a sample? Get Pop or Take Sam? Very good! It must be Take Sam. This is because the 10 teachers who engaged themselves in the exit interview are part of the sample. Number 4. The customer service department of a car dealing company plans to hold a customer satisfaction survey last year to create a better marketing strategy for the coming year. Based on their data system, there were 10,250 car buyers in 2021. Are you going to write Get Pop or Take Sam? Great job! You are going to write Get Pop. For the 10,250 car buyers in 2021 comprise the target population. Did you get them all? I hope you did. At this point, after knowing that a sample must be taken from a target population when you conduct research, you may be wondering on how you are going to determine the size of your sample. For instance, there are approximately 3,500 residents in your barangay, and you want to know whether they are getting the proper healthcare services they need. How many should you survey? Will you be guessing or will you be using a specific formula? Amazing! You will be using a formula. What formula are you going to use? That is what you are going to find out at this moment. As a student like you, if you want to determine a reliable sample size, you may use the Slovin's formula. What is the Slovin's formula? The Slovin's formula is exemplified by small n equals big N over 1 plus big N times small e squared, where n or small n equals the sample size, big N equals the population size, small e equals error tolerance or margin of error. In social science research, the error tolerance or margin of error is usually set at 5% or 500ths, which means that the confidence level of a researcher in terms of a tight accuracy in his research is 95%. Now that you know already the Slovin's formula, let us apply it in a problem. But let us do that when Fernandino Teens TV Season 2 returns.
Ang Schools Division Office City of San Fernando, Pampanga ay kaisa ng Department of Education sa pagsasagawa ng mga proyekto at programa na tumutugon sa mga pangangailangan ng mga mag-aaral. Inilunsad ang Division Call Center for Tutors and Guidance Counselors upang magbigay ng educational at psychological assistance sa mga mag-aaral, magulang at stakeholders ng division. Kaya, kung may nais kayong itanong tungkol sa pag-aaral, maaaring magpadala ng mensahe sa Division Call Center for Tutors and Guidance Counselors Facebook page o tumawag sa mga numero na makikita sa ibaba ng inyong screen tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes sa ganap na alas 8 ng umaga hanggang alas 6 ng gabi. Maaari rin kayong sumangguni sa ating guidance counselors na nagbibigay ng guidance and counseling services. Lahat ng inyong ibabahagi ay mananatiling confidential. Ang nasabing programa ay nagsisilbing daan upang malaman ang feedbacks ng stakeholders para matulungan ang ating divisyon na mapagbuti pa ang mga sumusunod na programa. Ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Tumawag na sa aming mga numero o bumisita na sa aming Facebook page at magpadala ng inyong mga katanungan.
Fernandino Teens TV.
Welcome back to Fernandino Teens TV Season 2. As promised, we are going to apply the Slovin's formula in a problem to determine the sample. Here is the problem. Students at the Pampanga High School were given the option to join the progressive expansion of limited face-to-face classes when these were allowed by the government since the alert level in Pampanga is lowered for the low cases of COVID-19 have been declared. A group of junior high school students would like to conduct a survey regarding the challenges faced by those who attended the progressive expansion of limited face-to-face classes. If there were approximately 1,200 students who attended the limited face-to-face classes and they could not afford to float questionnaires to all, then how many should they survey at 5% error tolerance? Let us see how we could help the students in determining the sample size. What must be done first? That is right. We need to determine the given from the problem and properly label them. What is the population size? Fantastic! The population size is 1,200. How about the error tolerance or margin of error? Correct. The margin of error or the error tolerance is 5% or 500ths when translated to decimal. After determining the given, what must be done next? Good job! We must supply the data in the formula and perform the indicated operations. In doing so, we have sample size equals population over 1 plus population times the margin of error squared equals 1,200 divided by 1 plus 1,200 times 500ths squared equals 1,200 divided by 1 plus 1,200 times 25 10,000ths equals 1,200 divided by 1 plus 3 equals 1,200 divided by 4 equals 300. Therefore, the group of students would survey 300 students. Please take note that if the final answer is a decimal, then you must round it off to a whole number since samples cannot be a decimal nor a fraction of a person. Are you ready for another example and for an engaging activity? Here is the second problem. A certain barangay is lived by 1,380 residents who can exercise their right to vote. Its captain and councilors would like to get the perception of the voters on the peace and order in the barangay during the recent election. How many would they survey if they like to display 98% level of confidence that the result would be accurate? What is the first thing that you need to do? Very good. You need to identify the given from the problem. What is the population size? You are correct. The population size is 1,380 since this is the number of residents who can exercise the right to vote in the barangay. How about the error tolerance based on the problem? Magnificent. It is 2% or 200ths. How did you know that even it is not reflected in the problem? Fabulous. This is because the level of confidence is given, which is 98%. Just subtract the given level of confidence from 100%, thus the margin of error is 2%. What are you going to do next? Good job! Just apply the data into the formula. By doing so, we have sample size equals population over 1 plus population times margin of error squared equals 1,380 divided by 1 plus 1,380 times 200ths squared equals 1,380 divided by 1 plus 1,380 times 4 10,000ths equals 1,380 divided by 1 plus 552,000ths equals 1,380 divided by 1 and 552,000ths equals 889 and 1800ths. Fernandino teens, is this the final answer? Awesome! It is not yet the final answer. So what are we going to do? You are correct. We must round it off to a whole number. So what do we have then? Great! It is 889. Therefore, the barangay captain and the councilor should survey 889. Did you get it, Fernandino Teen viewers? I hope you did. Now that you have learned how to determine a sample size using the Slovin's formula, it is time to assess how well you have learned it by performing this task titled Clap Snap Your Sample. In this activity, all you need to do is to clap twice if the computed sample is correct and snap if it is not. Moreover, after snapping your fingers, you need to type the correct computed sample on the comment section if you are watching via YouTube Live, or write it on a piece of paper if you are not. Are you ready? Item number 1. 3 of the grade 10 teachers want to determine if the conduct of their online class is effective. To do this, they will hold a survey on students who are attending their online classes. If they need a fast but accurate result from their 828 students, then will they involve 270 students at 5% error tolerance? Will you clap twice or snap your fingers? Fantastic! You will clap twice. Upon using the Slovin's formula, you will get 269 and 71 hundredths. But you need to round it off to a whole number since there is no decimal nor fractional person. Hence, the 3 teachers should involve 270 students in their survey to determine whether their online classes conducted are effective. Let us have item number 2. A group of researchers went to an ITA community. They would like to identify the challenges faced by 2,500 individuals there in terms of job hunting in the city so that they can come up with suggestions to the municipality where they belong. If they set the margin of error at 2%, then will they involve 1,000 individuals on their study to get an accurate result? Must you clap twice or snap your fingers? Good job! You must snap your fingers this time and write 1,250. Since when you supply the given data into the formula and perform the indicated operations, you will get this figure and not 1,000. Item number 3. An English teacher plans to describe the perception of the grade 10 students on their reading comprehension skills. There are approximately 1,250 students in the said level. If she sets the error tolerance at 5%, then will she float questionnaires to 303 and 300ths? Are you going to clap twice or snap your fingers? Excellent! You are going to snap your fingers and write 303. Obviously, the sample on the problem is incorrect for there's no decimal person. Let us proceed to item number 4. A non-profit research institution holds a survey on social media platform users to determine the rankings of the social networking sites. Given that the population size is 5,000 and the error tolerance is 10%, will the non-profit research institution include 4,951 individuals on its survey? Should you snap your fingers or clap twice? Correct! You should clap twice for you will really get 4,951 as you solve the sample size using the Slovin's formula. How many items have you answered correctly, Fernandino teens? I hope you have answered all of them correctly. In determining the sample size, aside from the Slovin's formula, there are available online apps that you can utilize. Now, you may begin wondering how you are going to select the members of the sample. You cannot just get whoever you want. You will be needing methods in selecting the respondents or participants who will comprise the sample. What do you call this method or process? That is right. The method or the process that is used is called sampling. Sampling is the process of selecting the respondents or participants from the target population to be included in the study. Do you know that there are 2 types of sampling? If you do not know, then let me share them with you as Fernandino Teens TV Season 2 returns.
Maya po oras kaya kayo, Fernandinos. Ako pala ay Elwin Arl Serrano ng City Tourism Office ng Siyudad San Fernando. Ngayon bulan na ini, pagmasusyan tayo ing National Heritage Month na ating temang Victory and Humanity, Upholding Filipino Heritage and Identity. Kambena nini, metong karang aktibidades na ning syudad, atin ning launching ning bayong Heritage Passport. Yung Heritage Passport, apin ning metong karing proyekto ning kaya katamong syudad, yung pamanamuna ng Mayor Edwin D. Santiago. Anong nuka rin makalagelangan ding eganagan ng heritage sites, heritage structures, na akit tamo kin kaya katamong heritage district. Makakayado din kini, ding importansya da ding mapil na tradisyon, kini syudad, kalupa ng pamangawang parol, ang poing pamangalesa. May aw siyang heritage passport, uling atin kang dapat gawan, anong nukaran puntalan mo lading at tsuking passport, at saka ka mag-selfie. Kay ba't kanta, palto making tourism office, at mamiyalang sticker ka rin eganagan ng apuntulan mong lugar. At timong may ngari ang tutong passport. Balo mingeni, panahon na ini, etamo makain bisa lumal, uli na ng COVID-19 pandemic. Kaya naman kimbanwa ngayon agkatan ko ding bikers tamo, edad 18 hanggang 50, imbis na lumaot kayo po, di na nyo lang dita ka oras di kaya katamong heritage structures, kaya ni syudad. Anya naman karing mumunang 50 bikers ang makayari kaya katamong heritage passport, midinan lang premium only San Fernando loot bag. Inggawan nyo mo bakanta makapag-register, punta kayo mismo opisina na ng City Tourism, ng munisipyo, at saka kayo magdalang metong valid ID. Kabinan kaya kayong heritage passport, ating makasipit ang instruction nung nano pa ing dapat gawan. Anya naman ka rin hanggang kapadyakin, nanano ko pa, tara na!
Fernandino Teens TV.
You are still tuned in to Fernandino Teens TV Season 2. At this point, let us have the two types of sampling, which are the probability sampling and the non-probability sampling. How do we differentiate these two sampling techniques? Let us find out. In a probability sampling technique or method, each member of the population has a known non-zero and equal chance of being included in the sample. On the other hand, in a non-probability sampling method or technique, members are selected based on reasons that are not in random manner. Let us further the discussion by taking the kinds of probability and non-probability sampling techniques. As mentioned, probability sampling methods ensure that the sample is representative of the population and that the statistical conclusions are valid. Let us take the types of probability sampling techniques one at a time. The first probability sampling method is the simple random sampling. The simple random sampling is known as the fishbowl method or the lottery method. How is this used? Each member in the population is assigned a number from 1 to n. The name of every member is written on a piece of paper or a ballot, which is then placed and thoroughly mixed in a bowl or a convenient container such as tambiolo. Then the researcher draws out n number of these ballots. The numbers are then listed and their corresponding participants are identified. How about the second probability sampling technique? If you are thinking about the systematic random sampling, then you are right. How is the systematic random sampling method used? Systematic random sampling is the method of selecting every kth element in the population list. The value of k is determined by the formula small k equals big N over small n, where k is the value that determines the elements that will comprise the sample. Big N is the population size. Small n is the sample size. Suppose that the researcher needs 303 respondents on 1,250 population. How is he going to apply systematic random sampling in selecting his respondents? You are correct. He needs to apply first the formula. Small k equals big N over small n. Will you substitute the given values in the formula? Awesome! That is small k equals big N over small n. Equals 1,250 divided by 303. Equals 4 and 1300ths or 4. The value of k is 4. Therefore, every fourth in the 1,250 individuals will comprise the 303 sample. When you reach the 1,250 and have not completed yet the sample, continue counting at the beginning of the list. Let us now proceed to the third type of probability sampling. What do you think is it? Fantastic! It is the stratified sampling. In this method, the population is divided into groups based on certain characteristics. What do you call the groups? Good job! It is called strata. The sample size of each group in this sampling technique is proportional to the size of each group in the population. How is this carried out? Let us check this problem. A group of junior high school teachers plan to conduct research about the learning styles of their students. Suppose that the total population is 1,800, which is composed of 540 grade 7 students, 450 grade 8 students, 430 grade 9 students, and 380 grade 10 students. And the sample size obtained is 150. How many respondents will come from grade 7, 8, 9, and 10? To get the members of each group or stratum, all you must do is to divide each grade level population by the total population and multiply the obtained quotient by the sample size. That is, for grade 7, n equals 540 divided by 1,800 times 150 equals 3/10 times 150 equals 45. Therefore, there will be 45 grade 7 students included in the sample. For grade 8, n equals 450 divided by 1,800 times 150 equals 2,500 times 150 equals 37 and 5/10 or 38. Therefore, there will be 38 grade 8 students included in the sample. For grade 9, n equals 430 divided by 1,800 times 150 equals 2,400 times 150 equals 36. Therefore, there will be 36 grade 9 students included in the sample. For grade 10, n equals 430 divided by 1,800 times 150 equals 2,100 times 150 equals 31 and 5/10 or 32. Therefore, there will be 32 grade 10 students included in the sample. The next is cluster sampling. In cluster sampling, the total population is based on some natural means. For instance, communities are grouped according to their geographical locations. Then random sampling is applied to choose which cluster is treated as the sampling unit such that analysis is done on population of clusters. Why do we not have a situation which applies cluster sampling? A Department of Education official will hold a survey to 50 public schools in the Philippines. If he has applied cluster sampling in choosing the members of the sample, then how will he do it? A natural way to cluster the target population is by regions. He may randomly select 10 regions from the 17 regions in the country. Then 5 public schools are randomly selected in each region. Is it clear, Fernandino teens? I hope it is. Let us proceed to the last type of probability sampling, which is the multistage sampling. What is it? In multistage sampling, the sample is selected by combining at least 2 different sampling methods. How is this done? Here is the situation. Ma'am Judith wants to conduct a survey about the students' perceptions of the cleanliness of the comfort rooms in the Pampanga High School. How will she choose 500 respondents using multistage sampling? First, she may consider the grade levels as clustered, then randomly select 5 grade levels. Then from each of the 5 selected grade levels, randomly select 4 sections or classes. From each section, randomly select 25 students to participate in the survey. Did you get it, Fernandino teens? I hope you did. Now that you have learned the different probability sampling techniques applied in choosing the members of a sample, I am sure that you are ready to know the non-probability sampling techniques. But before that, let us have a short break. We will be right back.
Hindi lamang sa larangan ng pangkabuhayan apektado ang maraming pamilyang Pilipino, kundi maging sa larangan ng pagkatuto ng bawat batang Pilipino. Inilunsad ng siyudad ng San Fernando ang programang Nurturing Environment and System for Thriving or NEST, isang education community pantry na naglalayon para sa isang malawakang pagtulong, pagtantabay at paggabay na ang focus ay ang makapagbigay ng tulong at suporta sa ating mga mag-aaral sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng educational needs gaya na lamang ng school supplies, tutorial sessions, study tips, at iba pang mga pamamaraan na mas lalong makatutulong sa pag-angat ng ating edukasyon. Dahil hindi hadlang ang pandemya sa magandang kinabukasang naghihintay sa ating mga mag-aaral. Sino-sino nga ba ang mga kalahok sa programang ito? Sa pagtutulungan ng ating school administrators, guro, magulang, at iba pang mga miyembro ng ating komunidad gaya ng barangay officials at sangguniang kabataan ay siguradong magiging mas matagumpay ang programang ito. Paano nga ba ang magiging proseso ng naturang programa? Una, magkakaroon tayo ng isang Facebook group, ang Pampanga High School NEST Education Community Pantry na pangungunahan ng Educational Pantry Coordinator. Ang mga magulang, tagapangalaga at mga guro ay ia-add ng ating Educational Pantry members sa Facebook group na ito. Sa page na ito maaaring i-post ng mga magulang at tagapangalaga o sino mang miyembro ng Educational Pantry ang kanilang mga kahilingan o requests. Kailangan ding ilagay ang pangalan ng mag-aaral, grade at section para sa mas agarang aksyon. Oo nga pala, hindi lang requests ang pwedeng i-post. Pwede ring mag-post ang mga nais magbigay ng tulong o mga gustong mag-donate. Sabi nga nila, sharing is caring. Tandaan na ang Facebook group na ito ay pribado at posts na may kaugnayan lamang sa page na ito ang maaaprobahan. Mayroon din palang Google Form na ipamamahagi kung saan maaari nating isumite ang ating requests o kahilingan. Paano naman ang mga walang internet access sa bahay? Huwag mangamba dahil merong mga nakalaang drop boxes ang ating paaralan na kung saan maaaring ihulog ng mga magulang at tagapangalaga ang kanilang requests. Sa mga nais namang mag-donate ng school supplies, maaaring ilagay ang mga ito sa tabi ng drop boxes. Maaari ring mag-donate ng mga kagamitan o cash donation kaakibat ang pagsusumite ng deed of donation form. Pangalawa, mahalaga ang ugnayan ng mga guro at ng mga magulang o tagapangalaga sa programang ito. Gamit ang video calls o chats ay ipahahayag ng mga guro ang adhikain ng programang ito sa mga magulang o tagapangalaga. Maaari ring gawin ang orientation na ito ng face-to-face kasabay ng schedule ng kuhanan ng mga module. Gaya ng nabanggit, hindi lamang mga bagay ang maaaring i-donate. Pwede ring mag-conduct ng tutorial session, study tips, at iba pang mga kagamitan sa pagkatuto gaya ng mga aklat o kaya ay gadgets. Ikatlo, ang requested needs ng ating mga magulang o tagapangalaga ay ililista ng ating NEST focal person. Ang mga coordinator naman ang mag-aayos ng mga ito. Ang advisors ng ating mga mag-aaral, guidance counselor, at iba pang mga guro ay ipaaalam sa ating mga magulang at tagapangalaga ang petsa at oras ng pamimigay ng requested needs na gaganapin sa paaralan. Sabi nga nila, it takes a village to raise a child. Kaya naman aktibo at iba yung pakikilahok ang inaasahan sa pagsasanib puwersa ng paaralan at barangay na siyang tutukoy sa pangangailangan ng bawat Fernandinong mag-aaral at kikilos upang matugunan ito sa tulong at suporta rin ng mga miyembro ng komunidad. Isang malawakang komunidad para sa isang produktibong educational community pantry ay tiyak na lilikha ng iba yung pagkilos upang maging mas magaan at madali ang pagkatuto ng bawat kabataang Fernandino. Kaya naman tandaan, magbigay ayon sa kakayahan, kumuha ayon sa pangangailangan.
Fernandino Teens TV.
You are still watching Fernandino Teens TV Season 2. Let us have the non-probability sampling techniques this time. Non-probability sampling techniques are sampling methods in which members are selected based on reasons that are not in random manner. To clearly understand them, why do we not take the types one at a time? First on our list is the purposive sampling. What is purposive or judgmental sampling? In purposive sampling, the samples are selected only based on the researcher's knowledge. As their knowledge is instrumental in creating the samples, there are chances of obtaining highly accurate answers with a minimum marginal error. It is also known as judgmental sampling or authoritative sampling. To further our knowledge on purposive sampling, let us have an example. Ms. Cunanan wants to determine the difficulties encountered by the students with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in mathematics. On her judgment based on the criteria set, she has finally chosen 5 students. Upon looking at the example, she has chosen the participants based on the purpose of her study, which is about the difficulties encountered by students with ADHD. Moreover, it is mentioned that certain criteria are set. In this manner, purposive sampling has been used. The next type is convenience sampling. What is convenience sampling? Convenience sampling is a method of non-probability sampling where researchers will choose their sample based solely on the convenience or accessibility. For instance, if Mrs. Manuel wants to identify the effective study habits of the grade 10 students, she may just ask her students to become participants on her study. How about quota sampling? Quota sampling is like the stratified random sampling technique, since the population is divided into strata or different groups of the population are identified. After identifying the groups, the researcher decides the sample size. Then, a quota for each stratum is calculated. Quota means that the number of cases that must be included in each stratum. After calculating the quota, invite participants and continue inviting until the said quota is met. What about the snowball sampling? Snowball sampling is a non-probability sampling that is useful when the population is hidden or cannot trace clearly due to the various reasons, including legal and ethical matters. The only way of finding members of some communities is by asking other members. For example, Mr. Buwan likes to determine the problems faced by AIDS patients. In using the snowball sampling, he may find one member of the said population. This is called the first round. Next, he may ask the first round member about any others. This list forms the second round. Afterwards, he may ask each of the second round members about any others. This process is repeated number of rounds and stop when they give the same names repeatedly. In each round, the percentage of new names entering the name list can be calculated. When the percentage of new entrants drops to around 10%, then the process stops. This will be the sampling frame. From this list, a sample can be drawn randomly. There you have them, Fernandino teens, the various non-probability sampling techniques. Though the mini research you will work on in mathematics may require probability sampling techniques, it is still indeed necessary to know the non-probability sampling for your future research endeavors. Let us proceed to the task in which we summarize what we have learned for this episode. The title of the activity is Fill Me In. In this challenge, all you need to do is to fill in the blanks with the correct words or phrases that will complete the statements. You may use the comment section in writing your answers if you're watching via YouTube Live. If not, then you may write your answers on a piece of paper. You will be given 5 seconds to write your answers. Are you ready, Fernandino teens? I know that you know about blank. What must be written on the blank? Great job! You must write sample size and sampling techniques. In calculating the sample size, you may use the blank. What is the answer? Very good. The answer is Slovin's formula. The process of selecting the respondents or participants from the target population to be included in the study is blank. What must be written on the blank? Correct. You must write sampling on the blank. The sampling method is classified as blank and blank. What is the answer? You got them right. The answers are probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Probability sampling is categorized into blank, 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 and blank. What must be written on the blanks? Fantastic! You must write simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, and multi-stage sampling. While the non-probability sampling techniques are blank, 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 and blank. What are the answers? Fabulous! The answers are convenience sampling, purposive sampling, quota sampling, and snowball sampling. Did you get them all, Fernandino viewers? I hope you did. At this point, I want you to reflect on this before we end this episode. Impartiality begets respect, objectiveness begets justice. When we hold surveys or conduct research, we use a system, a process, or a set of standards in choosing the cases that will be included in the said endeavor. Going through the process shows impartiality, that is giving all the members of the population equal chance of becoming respondents or participants. If the members that may comprise the sample are non-randomly selected, at least you as a researcher has sufficient knowledge on the target population so that criteria may be set in choosing the participants. In a way, this shows objectiveness. If we relate what we have learned to our lives, it is very much similar. We need to treat the people around us with fairness, and this brings respect. When we mingle with our neighbors, friends, and loved ones, we must always be objective in terms of observing their actions, words, and even thoughts. In this manner, justice prevails. I hope you have learned valuable information for today. Here are the references I have used in this episode. This has been your virtual math teacher, Mr. Edyson o Pangilinan, saying, in every step we make, let us be certain that the direction we are following is clear. In this way, success will definitely be achieved. May God bless us all. See you again next time for another wonderful learning episode here at Fernandino Teens TV Season 2. Bagong umaga, yakapin mo ang bagong pag-asa. Simulan mong abutin ang iyong pangarap na magbibigay dangal sa iyong bukas. Ang suliranin, hindi laging nandyan, dapat mong harapin. Kami iyong kasama sa bawat takin, magkaakbay nating lulutasin.